practice with you. My name is Joanna. Before we begin, we're going to start to take a comfortable seat. So whatever that means to you. You can take a seat cross-legged, like I'm doing here, if that feels comfortable. If not, you can actually roll up a blanket and put it under your hips to get a bit of a cushion. You can also start by sitting on a chair or your sofa, if that's comfortable for your body. All right, so today's class is creating a sequence. And the sequence is we're going to be creating a strong foundation so that we can come to a place of stillness and awareness. Therefore, we can then develop our flexibility and gain strength and find some inner joy even when we step off of our mat. All right, so remember, in yoga, it's not ever about pain or you don't want to ever hit a pain point. So listen to your body. And when you feel some discomfort, a little discomfort is normal. But if you feel any pain, back off the pose and just adjust your body so that you don't feel that pain. All right? And also remember that your poses will look different than mine because everybody's body is different. And when you make your shapes and when I make my shapes, they're going to be looking different. So don't hold yourself thinking it has to look just like mine. Yoga is a creative body experience and expression. So be true to yourself and honor your uniqueness in the poses that you make. All right, so now you can pause your video if you like, because what I would like you to do is put on something comfortable, something loose, some baggy clothes, pajamas, sweats, whatever's comfortable for you, and grab a mat. If you have a mat, if you don't have a mat, a yoga mat, use a carpet, a rug, a towel, whatever you have, and grab a blanket too. We'll be using that at the end of our practice. So let's get started. Okay. Let's begin with our warm-ups. So sitting tall and sitting proud. Inhaling, lengthening your spine up and rolling your shoulders back. Let's do a few more shoulder rolls with our breath. Inhale, up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. One more, inhale up, and exhale down. Let's do some warm-ups for our necks. So let's lift your head up as you breathe in and down slowly as you breathe out. Inhale up, exhale down, and really feel how the sensation on your neck as you're doing this. And let's go from side to side. Inhale to the right, slowly, exhale to the center. Inhale to the left, exhale to center. Inhale to the right, exhale to the center. And inhale to the left, exhale to the center. Let's now move to do some seated twists. So, as I said, this is our foundation. It's really important that we have a strong foundation. So really feel your sit bones sinking down into the earth. And then at the same time, lift your spine up to the crown of your head. Place your left hand on your right knee and your right hand behind you on the floor behind you. And keeping that length in your spine, start to twist from your belly first. Twisting from your belly and then your shoulders and look back and take 3 deep full breaths here. So inhaling and exhaling. Go slow, 2 more breaths. Awesome. Now start to slowly come back to center. Let's do the same on the other side. Place your right hand on your left knee, your left hand behind you. And ground down with your sit bones. Lengthen your spine, rolling your shoulders back. And let's start to twist from our belly first. Belly, and then our shoulders, and then look behind you, and inhale deeply. Exhale. 2 more times. Challenge yourself in the pose, in all the poses, but back away from any pain, as I mentioned to begin with. All right. Side body stretch. Right fingertips go down on the floor. The left fingertips, your arm reaches out and start to fold over towards your side. Look down at your right hand and feel the line of energy down your left side. And make this pose your own. What I mean by that is you can move and adjust so it feels good. It feels like it's your best stretch. 3 deep breaths here. And then coming up and floating over to the other side. Left hand down. Remember, grounding down through sit bones and stretching and reaching up and over. You can look down at your hand. Making that stretch, exploring to what feels good on your body, what you need right now, the way you turn. And then reaching as far as you can. Feel that line of energy down your side body. Taking 3 deep breaths. Floating back towards the center. If you've had that mat under your sit bones, you can move that off to the side. You're going to come into tabletop position. So this is exactly what it means. You imagine your body is a table. Now, move your hands out so they're about under your shoulders and widen your fingers. Your knees are open and they should be under your hips. Lengthen your spine in head. Right. Taking a breath here, we're coming into that stillness and awareness as we start with some spinal flexes. So this is called cat-cow pose. You may know this already. So inhale, drop your belly, lift your head up, reach your heart forwards, and lift up your tailbone. You can feel an arch in your back, lower back. Exhale, push away into your hands, into your knees, and come up like a Halloween cat, looking inwards between your legs towards your toes, chin to chest. Inhale, drop the belly, head up, heart forwards, tailbone up. Exhale, push away. Do a few more at the own pace of the own rhythm of your breath. Inhaling for cow, exhaling for cat. Notice how this feels on your body as you move, especially if you do a lot of sitting all day. All right. Now pushing your weight back onto your heels and rotate your wrists just to give them a relief after that last pose. A lot of pressure. Okay. Coming back into tabletop position, and we're doing a prep for downward dog. So extend your right leg back, engage your toes, and push back on that leg as if you're doing like a runner stretch. Kind of rock back and forth just to engage those muscles, to sort of activate them. And right knee goes down. Now it's the left side. Engaging your left toes and your muscles, firing them up. And come down. You can sit back and rotate your wrists a little bit. This could be a lot of pressure that your wrists aren't used to. Okay. Now we're going to go into downward dog pose. So, we're into tabletop. And reach your hands a little bit more forwards. Okay. Widen your fingers like your hands are starfish. Spaces between them all your fingers. Claw your fingertips down to create a bit of a suction cup under your hand. This helps to protect your wrist. Make sure your thumb and your index finger are pushed all the way down. Now curl your toes. Push your weight into your hands and into your toes and lift up a little bit just to engage your core and hover for 2 breaths. Shaking is normal. And come back down. Come back onto your heels and do a few more wrist rotations. You can even flex your hands back so to relieve any tension. We're going to do that again, but we're going to come up into a full downward dog pose. Hands are wide. Fingers are clawing into the mat. Make sure your hands are a little bit higher, more forward than with tabletop. Tuck your toes. All right. Begin to push away your heels of your hands into the mat as you push in your toes, and then lift up your tailbone towards the sky and push all the way back. And lean into your heels. You can walk it out, feeling the full body stretch. Half of your weight is on your arms and hands, and half of the weight is on your lower half. All right, great. Come down to your knees. You can sit back and do a few more wrist rolls. We're going to do that one more time. We're going to try to stay stable in that pose. Finding that place of stillness with awareness. So walk your hands up to the front of the mat. Claw them in. Your fingertips in. Tuck your toes and push away. Tailbone up to the sky. And pushing all your weight into your palms as you're leaning your feet, your heels towards the mat. And when you come into a place of you feel equal balance, try to find some stillness in this pose through breath awareness. So inhaling we do 3 breaths here. It's challenging, but it is so good for you. Make sure you can shake your head left and right so you don't have any tension in your neck. Last pose, last breath, and slowly begin to walk your feet up to the top of the mat. And grab hold of your elbows and just relax here for a couple of breaths. Take your hands, your fingers, and put them into the creases of your legs, right up here by your hips. Bend your knees. This is super important to preserve your spine. All right, you're going to keep a flat back, so flatten your back, and come up as if you were a hinge. You don't want to curl your spine. Awesome. Coming up into standing pose, Tadasana. All right, we're at the top of the mat here. We're in mountain pose. Mountain pose. Feet hip-width distance apart. You'll lift your toes up to feel the 4 corners of your feet engage with the earth. Feet are hip distance wide. Hands come in palms forward. Close your eyes. Engage with the earth by pushing your weight in. At the same time, lengthening your spine, rolling your shoulders back and relaxing your neck. All right. Bring your palms together just to come back to our intention for the class as a reminder to try to find stillness in the pose, stillness in the discomfort. And we can achieve that by becoming aware that we're discomfort, in this stage of discomfort, and breathing through the discomfort till it goes away. Okay. Reach your arms up. Grab hold of your right wrist and start to bend over to your left. Look down at the ground. Take 3 breaths here. Finding a place of stillness. more breath. Coming up to center slowly, grabbing hold of your left wrist and leaning over to the right, looking at the ground. Palms together and come down in front of your heart center. Do a few sun breaths here. So drop your hands, inhale, your arms come up like a bird. Inhale, and one exhale down. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, down. Inhale, filling up with breath, and exhale, down. All right, awesome. We're going to come, if you haven't moved, come back to the top of your mat. We're going to do Warrior 1 and Warrior 2 pose. All right, feet are hip width distance apart. Step your right foot back and point your toes towards the right corner of your mat or towel. Bend your left knee, right? Bringing awareness into this pose. Half of the weight is on your back foot. So press your back edge of your foot into the mat. As you lean forwards, scissor your legs together to create a foundation. You can stay here for your 3 breaths. You can challenge yourself if you like to look forwards and bring your arms up. And one more breath. Straighten your leg. Hands come onto your hips. Turn your right foot back so it is parallel with the back of your mat. And line up your heel. Draw an imaginary line to the arch of your foot. Bend your left knee and float your arms up to the side. Pressing your foot weight into your back foot and your front foot evenly. Plug your shoulders into your back so that they're strong and firm. Inhaling for 2 more breaths. If this is too much for you, you can just bend your left knee and come back out. Hands come to your hips. Come to the front of your mat. Do a forward fold now. Feet really wide here. The wider your feet are, the easier it is for your body. Right? Hands on hips, bending flat back forwards. Reaching down, out and down. And walking your fingertips back. Being mindful of the feeling, the stretch on the back of your legs. You can lower down to wherever that feels comfortable for you and take 3 deep breaths. Just hanging out here, breathing deeply. Bend your knees, hands on hips, flat back up. Alright, you can come to the opposite side of your mat. We are going to now step on the other side. We stepped our right foot back, so now we're going to step our left foot back. I'm going to actually come back on this side. It'll be easier for you to see. Step the left foot back, about 3-4 feet apart. Turning the toes so that they go to the, if you drew a line, it'd be to the left corner of the mat. Bend your front knee. Pressing equal weight in back and front leg. Inhale your hands up, your arms up. Plug them back into your shoulders so that they are firm. 3 deep breaths here. Hands come back to hips. Straighten your front knee. Turn your back foot. So now it is parallel with the back of the mat. And you could draw an imaginary line from your heel to your arch. Bend your right knee. Float your arms up. Turn your hips forwards. Checking your back arm, your left arm, both arms so that they are equal. Looking out for your fingertips. Shoulders are coming inwards so they feel firm and you have a solid foundation. And this is really good for any shoulder injuries as well. Finding stillness. And straighten your knee. Come back, do another forward fold, just as a counter pose. Hands on hips, bending forwards, reaching here to your floor. Maybe now you can experiment. See if your legs go wider apart, how that feels. Maybe you're already loosened up a bit, so you can go down further now. Right, lowering your head towards the mat and taking 3 deep breaths. Feeling the sensation of the stretch up the back of your legs. Bend your knees, hands on hips. And we say this is sort of like fun and silly, but it is fun and silly. Heel toe your feet towards each other. And that was wide leg standing forward fold. Now we're going to go into tree pose. So tree pose is awesome, it's fun, and it's just a great balance pose. So let's begin by putting all your weight into your right leg. So you can lift your toes and put them down just to make the 4 corners of your foot balanced. Hands on hip, take your left knee and open it. Turn it open so you're opening your hip. Right. And then slowly, right, I should have said first, find a place on the floor or wall that's not moving to focus on. Standing tall, lengthening through your spine. Turn your knee, and you can put your foot, or sole your foot on your ankle, your calf. Some of you may be able to put it right up into your inner thigh, depending on your body type and your body history. So we come out of the balance, that's okay, of the pose, just find it again. It helps if you press your legs together, creates more inner strength. Hands can come into prayer if you feel like challenge yourself more. And you can open and spread your arms into tree pose. Finding stillness. You might be like a tree in the wind with your balance, or you might feel bang on and sturdy. Hands come back to center and draw them down and shake out your legs. Let's do the other side. All the weight into your left foot. Ground down. Feel the earth supporting you. Turn your right sole of your foot so it's on your ankle or anywhere above, as long as it's not on your kneecap. Find a place on the floor or the wall that is not moving. That will help create your balance. Right? Bend a little bend in that knee is also helpful. Lengthening up through the spine. Press your legs together. Creates more balance. If you want to be more challenged with your balance, put your hands up into prayer, all the way up, and come into your own creative expression of a tree. Right. In tough times here, it helps to have a bit of an inner smile. 3 breaths. If you fall out of your pose, just come on back. Hands come back to prayer and down. And go ahead and shake out your legs. Alright, awesome job. Alright, we're going to come up to the front of the mat. And we're going to do a forward fold. Hands up. Reaching down. Folding all the way down. We're going to step back into tabletop position as we start to move into our seated postures. Okay, so we're back in table pose here. We know this one well. And we're just using this as a transition to come right down onto our bellies. So So slowly and mindfully, we come down to our bellies, right? And with this pose here, center yourself on your mat. Make sure whatever you're on, your feet are on. Try to if your mat's long enough, try to get your whole body on here, and in the middle. All right. So this is a really good stretch. It's called locust stretch, or it's not ever called stretch in yoga. Locust pose. So we're connecting our whole front body onto the mat. And hands are right beside your body, palms facing inwards. You can open your feet a bit, open your legs a bit, and point your toes. All right. Take a connecting breath, feeling your belly supported on the earth. And then next breath, lift up your head, lift up your shoulders, roll your shoulders back, plant them in. And then reaching your hands towards your feet, point your toes, and lift your feet up. And into this place of challenge, right? As you take a breath in and out, try to find stillness and that you can do this with your breath. And then relax. You can create a bit of a pillow with your hands and arms. Turn your head to one side. Taking a couple deep breaths here. All right. That was so much fun. We're going to do it 2 more times. Okay. So head forehead on the mat. Right? Hands beside you, palms against your legs. Lifting your head up. And think about lifting your heart forwards. Point your toes so that the muscles are engaged and lift them up. Your hands point towards your feet. And take 3 breaths here. Make sure your neck's not stiff. And release. You can create that pillow with your hands. You can look the other way, just to give your neck relief on the other side. And then we'll do 1 more pose here. Okay. Inhale your head up. Shoulders back, feet up. Reaching back towards your feet. See if you can challenge yourself to get your legs up higher or your arms reaching back more for 3 breaths. Challenge yourself, but stop if it's causing you any pain. Do not go there. And release. Yoga is a loving, compassionate practice that is never harmful. Okay. Awesome job. That was like super challenging. So we're going to flip over. We're going to come into bridge pose next. So here we come onto our backs. And bend your knees. And open your feet so they are about hip width distance apart. Heels are coming towards your sit bones. You can even try to see if you can touch your heels. That's a good indicator that they are close enough. Right. Place your arms right beside your ribs. We call this robot arms. Right. Begin by just exploring how your body's going to move here. So do that by just pressing into your feet a little bit, and notice when you do, your tailbone comes up. And what's happening is your whole pelvic area is tilting forwards and then down. Try that again. Notice the sensations up and down. So we'll do that again, but now we're going to go all the way up. So pushing into your feet, pushing into your arms, your whole upper arm. Lift your pelvic area up towards the sky, coming into a full stretch in your front of your leg muscles. Take 3 breaths. You challenge yourself to find stillness and presence in this moment. And slowly lower down like your spine is a string of pearls. Right? Here you can let your feet rock from side to side as your knees go back and forth slowly. This helps to relieve any tension in the spine. We're going to do this one more time. Pressing all the way. Make sure your knees, your legs are open here. Check that your feet haven't moved. They're close towards your sit bones. Start to press, peel yourself off of the mat and your pelvis up. You can interlace your fingers under you, and you can even sort of walk and roll onto your shoulders more so you can get more of a reach. And lift your chin up away from your chest. And take 3 breaths here. Remember your inner smile. Finding stillness in this challenging position through your breath. Move your arms and slowly draw your spine back down onto the mat. All right. Awesome work. That was super challenging. We're going to move next into Upasana. So this is just a forward, it is curling up, bending your knees up towards your chest, holding onto your shins, and drawing little circles with your knees on the ceiling. Be mindful of your spine and how that feels on your lower back. You're actually giving yourself a bit of a lower back massage. That should feel good. Now let's reverse the opposite way. See if you can incorporate your breath into that. Great. Perfect. Now we're going to go into my favorite stretch. This is a side, it is actually a laying down twist. So drawing your knees up towards your chest, open your arms wide, and make them that the palms are turning up. And slowly lower your knees down to your right side. And you'll notice as you're doing that, one thing, you might fall off your mat. So readjust yourself so you're on your mat or your support. And notice your whole other side will come peeling up. So, if you have a blanket, and you're like me, where it just sort of peeled up, you can take a blanket and you can either put it between your legs or under your knees to give you some more support. And open your arms, and then slowly turn your head to look in the opposite direction to give you a full spinal twist here. You can also find it helpful to put your hand on your knee. And you might hear a little bit of a cracking sound, possibly, like with my spine, and that's just completely natural and healthy. Right. Taking your 3 deep breaths here. All right. Going to move to the other side. So knees up if you have a blanket or a cushion. Put it onto the other side. Readjust your body so you're going to stay on your mat when you shift over. Knees up, arms out, palms up, and lower. Goal is you're keeping this other shoulder, both shoulder blades down. Turning your nose, your face towards an open palm. You're connecting with your belly as you breathe. Next we're going to go into figure 4 pose. So take your right ankle and place it over your left thigh. Right? This may be enough of a pose for you. You're just pushing down onto the leg. We're looking for a sensation in your hip. This is a hip opener, especially for people who sit a lot at their desk. So this may be enough for you. You may feel like, oh, this is enough. But some of you may be feeling, I could do a bit more. So if you are like that, you can grab hold of your pant leg and start to pull your leg up, interlace your fingers underneath, and lower your head and lower your shoulders. And if you're in this pose, wherever you are, noticing with awareness where you feel the stretch, right where you feel it. And breathe air into that tightness to create more space so you relax. One more breath. And slowly bring that leg down. We do the same on the opposite side. So this may be enough. You might probably notice one hip is tighter than the other one. So you might not be able to move as far on one side. So you can begin by pressing that hip open, that leg down, to open the hip. And if you want to challenge, interlace your fingers underneath the other leg. Relax your head, relax your shoulders. Connect with your inner smile. And slowly lower that down. Okay, so this is a fun part. We're gonna rock ourselves up forward to do some seated postures. So we can simply rock up and down a couple times. This is an excellent massage on your spine. And when you get up to the top, we're ready to do a few of our seated postures. Okay, so grab your pillow if you have one, or cushion, or rolled blanket like me. Get it under your hips. This really is just helping you create that lower back curve that is good for your spine. It's called Dandasana pose. It's perfect if you're new to yoga. It really teaches you the foundations of making any strong seated pose. So feel the weight of your body grounding down into the earth. Flex your toes so that you are engaging all your leg muscles. Fingertips beside you. Okay. Lengthen up through your spine. Roll your shoulders back. 3 breaths here. Move your right leg out to the side. Bring your left sole of your foot inwards towards your thigh. We're going to do some forward folds here. So grounding down into the earth to get solid foundation. Lift your arms up. Imagine you're climbing up a ladder. You're trying to get more space up through your torso and keeping a flat back. Bend forwards to wherever your hands fall. Keep that foot flexed as if you're walking on the ground. The goal here isn't whether you can get your head to your leg, although some of you may be able to do that. The goal here is to have a flat spine as you bend forwards. And relax your neck. Two more breaths here. You might just notice through that awareness you can move a little bit further now that you've relaxed. May or may not. If you can, see where you're at. Slowly come up. And let's do the other side. Grounding down through your sit bone, lengthening up through the spine, reaching up like you're climbing that ladder, and then folding the flat spine forwards to wherever your hands fall. Bring your awareness to the back of your leg. Notice the sensation. If you don't feel any sensation, then try to increase the intensity, go further in your fold. Or if you feel too much, back off a bit, right? This should be challenging but not painful. 2 more breaths here. And come on up. Alright, now both legs go together, both feet go together, like we did Dandasana. Ground down, roots to rise, lifting up. And you can bend your knees here if that feels good to you. Coming forwards to wherever you're at. With a flat back, or imagine you have a flat back anyways. You don't want to come into it curled. You want to go as flat as possible. Connect with your breath. And walk your hands back up. So last of our seated postures, this is called Baddha Konasana. In other words, it's called in English, cobbler pose. Soles of feet come together. Right, I'm sitting still on my roll to give myself some hips going up so it's easier on my lower spine. Okay. Bring your heels towards you as much as you can. Grab hold of the tops of your feet. And as you're doing that, imagine try to pull your knees down, your legs down towards the mat. Any amount so that you can feel it. Then you can even use your elbows, perhaps, to push down more. Or not, you can reach forwards. And 2 more breaths. Bring awareness if you feel like, oh, that's gotten kind of lazy, I don't feel it. Bring those legs, knees down again as much as you can. And 1 more breath. All right, awesome. Now the best part of our practice, the Shavasana pose, will be lying down on our backs for a couple minutes before we close our practice. Coming into Shavasana pose, final resting pose, the best part of the practice. And we begin this by placing 1 foot in each corner of the mat. And reaching out your arms, palms up, maybe like 8 inches away from your body. And maybe roll your head from side to side, just to make sure it's comfortable. Make any slight adjustments you need to in your body to feel like you can come into this place of total relaxation. Bring your awareness to all of the places that your body is touching your mat. Scan your body from head to toe. Notice as your feet are relaxing, flopping open where they are touching the mat. Notice the back of your legs and all the way up. Your whole backside and your arms and your hands. And the back of your head. Feel like you are being supported by Mother Earth. Allow yourself to just grow heavy. Grow heavy and melt, soften. If you're laying on a beach sand, imagine it's a hot day and you're just settling right in under the sunshine. Bring your attention to your natural breath. As you breathe in and out naturally. Put your awareness on your breath. And notice how your body moves when you're breathing, that it's similar to waves on a lake. Rising and falling. Give yourself permission to do nothing here, but relax. You've earned it. You've worked hard. celebrate your success by just relaxing and doing nothing but following your breath as you inhale and exhale. Coming into this place of peace and steadiness. Now you can stay in this place if you're really comfortable as we close our practice. Or you can roll over to one side, create a pillow with your arm, and slowly move your way up to seal off our practice in a traditional yoga way. But if you're lying down, you can do it there as well. Bring your palms, even if you're lying down, towards your heart center. Close your eyes. Take a moment to give thanks to yourself, your unique self, for coming on this yoga journey, for this practice. Give thanks to your body and your mind for being here. And bowing down your head towards your fingertips to honor the light within you and the light within everyone. Acknowledging the light in yourself and others that makes us all so unique. May there be peace in your hearts, peace in your minds, and peace in your communities. Miigwech, namaste. Thank you for joining me.